on Iowa State News and find the latest car fire and burglaries, the crimes in the area.
And see what the Pope said to Congress today. This and much more coming up on iState News.
Hello, I'm Ryan Chen.
And I'm Trey Arshon. Welcome to the September 24th edition of iState News.
The string of car fires and burglaries continues in Ames as police push caution. The first car burglaries in the area started Labor Day and have continued till Tuesday night. Since the first reported accident, there have been 30 reported burglaries and 5 car fires in the Ames area. Police believes all these crimes are connected and having added more patrolling officers to the north side, where incidents have been occurred and have a lead of suspect after a 2-block chase before losing him. Suspect is described as a thin, white male with blonde hair in his late teens or early 20s, approximately 6 feet tall.
Worried about student debt? If you are, make sure to head to the Student Debt Symposium tonight, hosted by Iowa State. This event will start with a viewing of the documentary Default, the student loan documentary. Following the viewing, there will be an open forum for our students to bounce ideas off each other about the film and then ask questions about student debt to a panel. Panelists include Vice President of Student Affairs Tom Hill, Director of the Student Financial Counseling Clinic Jonathan Fox, and Director of Student Financial Aid at Iowa State Roberta Johnson. The symposium is free to attend and will be held tonight at 7 p.m. in the Great Hall of the Memorial Union.
The Pritzker winner, Kathleen Parker of the Washington Post, will present a lecture here in Iowa State on November 12th at the Fall Mary Louise Smith Chair in Women and Politics. Parker plans to discuss women in the 2016 presidential campaign, going into details on candidates, voters, and issues. Parker joined the Washington Post in 2006 and has one of the most syndicated columns in the nation, on average getting 18 million readers per column. She is also a political analyst on MSNBC and a regular guest on NBC's Meeting Press. She won the Pulitzer in 2010 for commentary for her perspective of witty columns on the area of political and moral issues, gracefully showing the experience and values that leads she to unpractical conclusion.
Getting around campus on a bike has become even more difficult with enrollment increases and very few bike lanes. Matt Torrentori has the story.
Ever think that you really don't need to read the textbook you assign? Or do you think you will do fine without it? Well, think again, because an Iowa State associate professor says that analytic given digital textbook provide a real-time assessment of how students are doing in the class. Reynold Junko, associate professor in Iowa State University School of Education, says the digital option of books give teachers at Iowa State a pretty good gauge of how student is doing in the class. Junko collected data from 236 students using ebooks in various classes in the study, and on average, students spent nearly 7.5 hours reading over 11 days in a whole 16-week semester. More importantly, is the research shows the students who spend more time reading textbook get higher grade in the course. The study was published in the Journal of Internet and Higher Education.
All signs are pointing in a good direction after Governor Branstad's meeting with Chinese President Xi Jinping. A large group of Chinese business people will be in Des Moines today to sign more than a dozen contracts that were produced from Branstad and Jinping. The governor told the Des Moines Register that the meeting went well and will continue to build a strong relationship between the United States and China. Talks here in Iowa were about trade deals between the two countries, which could potentially spur millions. The contract signed today will be for Iowa soybeans and health products.
A loaded gun was discovered at the Des Moines International Airport yesterday. TSA found a .38 Gambler Special Ruger firearm loaded with 5 rounds of passengers carry-on. During the checkout screen procedure, they confiscated the weapon and allowed the passenger to rebook the flight. This is the fifth firearm discovery in Checkpoint that Des Moines has had this year.
Iowa's farmland is not as rich as it used to be. According to a study released by the Iowa chapter of Realtors Land Institute, farmland value throughout all of Iowa has declined more than 11% during just the past year. The survey that was released Wednesday reveals the factors contributing to the current farmland values include lower commodity prices, increasing interest rates, lack of stable alternative investments, and limited amount of land on market. The largest impact has been seen this harvest season in low corn and soybean prices, making it harder for small farmers to operate and improve their machinery.
After the break, find out what the Pope said to the Congress today.
And how the MU celebrated their 87th birthday. Stay tuned to iState News.
Pope Francis took some heavy-hitting issues when he spoke to Congress today in Washington. Pope urged the United States governmental body to not turn its back on undocumented immigrants, to reject the victimization of religious and ethnic minorities, and overcome the income inequality, and to save the planet from climate change. This was the Pope's second stop on his United States tour yesterday, talking at the White House and the parading in D.C. Today, he will continue moving around the city. He still has a busy schedule ahead of his, as he will be stopping in New York City and Philadelphia before he heads back to Vatican.
Hillary Clinton came out with her views on the Keystone Pipeline after weeks of sidestepping the environmental issue. Clinton said Tuesday that she opposes the controversial Keystone XL pipeline that would stretch through more than 1,000 miles across the United States. The pipeline was proposed last year and has fought backlash from environmentalists and others, as it has brought issues of potential harmful spills, habitat obstruction, and eminent domain. The project is still under review in the State Department.
The city of Los Angeles has officially called a state of emergency on homelessness. LA called for $100 million in federal aid to address the problem. The growth of homelessness in the city is constant and is currently at 20%. According to figures released by the Los Angeles Homeless Service Authority, Skid Row, as it come to be called, is the area where homeless people stay and try to survive. This area growing week by week, with the 25,000 homeless people in the city.
Donald Trump and Fox News' feud continues today as some risky comments were made about last week's debate. Columnist Rick Lowry was a guest on Megyn Kelly's news show when he said Carly Fiorina had castrated Trump during the CNN debate. Since this comment, there has been Twitter reactions from both Trump and Lowry. Trump said that Lowry shouldn't be allowed on TV and the FCC should fine him, while Lowry responded by saying, "Man, you can dish it out, but you really, really can't take it." Trump has since decided to boycott Fox News.
Millions of government officials' fingerprints were stolen in a personnel data hack yesterday. 5.6 million fingerprints were stolen from Office of Personnel Management and the Department of Defense on Tuesday. U.S. officials have been pointing finger at Chinese government hackers, but have not come public with an official release yet. President Obama will discuss this heavily with the Chinese President Xi Jinping when they meet tomorrow.
Can a person 30 miles away be convicted of manslaughter through a text message? A case that has received attention around the nation is still under scrutiny. 18-year-old Michelle Carter faces possible manslaughter charges over the suicide of her boyfriend, Conrad Roy, in July. Text messages between the two reveal that Carter helped her boyfriend research suicide methods, come up with a plan, and finally go through with the suicide. Carter sent over 1,000 texts about Roy's suicide plans, including one that read, "You always say you're going to do it, but you never do." Carter's attorneys claim she was pressured by Roy's suicide plans, and she was eventually pressured and brainwashed into going along with his ideas. The pretrial hearing is scheduled for November 30th.
While the president is currently hosting a pope, a presidential hopeful thinks Obama is just pretending to be Christian. Conservative candidate Mike Huckabee suggests that President Barack Obama tends to be unchristian, going to say that it made it difficult for Christians in America to practice their faith. Huckabee was not pleased with the way Obama hosted the Hope while he was on a visit of the White House, saying there were too many people there were actually not supportive for Catholic Church and these principles.
A Colorado River cleanup crew made the river even worse. Colorado's Environmental Protection Agency was working on cleaning up a river that was once contaminated from a nearby mine, and its runoff accidentally spilled 3 million gallons of waste fluid down the Animas River. The river now is a bright orange-yellow hue as opposed to the normal clear blue water. It's still being investigated on how potentially harmful the chemicals that were spilled into the river may be.
Yesterday was a big day at the Memorial Union in Iowa State. Whitney Pittman has a story. Welcome back to Iowa State. CEO of Volkswagen officially resigned his position in his scandal regarding his company cars and illegal emissions, after VW was caught allowing their cars to emit an unlawful amount of harmful toxins. A huge recall was released for 11 million Volkswagen cars. The company's stock has dropped 20% and continues to plummet. This led to an expected conclusion of the resignation of the high-ranking officer just 1 day after released the official apology video to the public. The CEO, Martin Winterkorn, is gone.
The European Union leaders managed to send 1 billion euros, or $1.1 billion, to international agencies helping refugees at camps near their home countries in order to help the major migration crisis. The EU also plans to set up the hotspots by the end of November so experts can quickly register and identify people eligible for refugee protection and filter out economic migrants who are unlikely to qualify for asylum in Europe. The European Council President said that the measures they plan to take will not end the crisis, but they are necessary steps in the right direction.
One of the hottest days in the Muslim calendar has left over 700 people dead in the stampede. The first day of the Eid al-Adha, millions of Muslims were making their way to Mecca. The stampede occurring and murdered over 800 people and left over 700 dead. It has been said it is the deadliest accident occurring in the pilgrims since 1990.
Women concerned about the Republican Party taking funding away from Planned Parenthood took the hashtag #ShoutYourAbortion to social media yesterday. The trend started Saturday when a woman took to Facebook speaking out about her abortion and how she felt afterward. Many women took to Twitter explaining how their abortion was necessary and positive moment in their lives.
The tone of zero words has already shown direct effects on the next generation. A newborn was named Amo, meaning hope after she survived. Born yesterday, Amo came into this world with a scar on her forehead from a piece of shrapnel that hit her mother a day earlier while the baby was still inside a pregnant mother. The shrapnel came from the airstrike that landed near this home of this family that injured the mother and all of her children, including the unborn child. The family survived but are forced to return to the home and the war-stricken country.
Now we'll take a look at the Memorial Union this afternoon in Central Campus, and it looks like a pretty nice day out there. Whitney, did they get rid of all that cake last night at the MU, or should I stop by?
Oh, it's pretty well gone. There were quite a few people out there enjoying the night.
All right, and we're just one day before the weekend. Matt, how's it going to be out there?
Oh, it's going to be fantastic. Come tomorrow, after hopefully a little rain, maybe a little, but then sun. It's clear skies for the rest of the weekend.
Thank you for watching Iowa State. I'm Ryan Chen.
I'm Matt Torntori.
I'm Whitney Pittman.
And I'm Treyer Schoen. Have a great evening, everyone.